Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
There's my beautiful people. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose. With me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guide, and servant on the healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Bryan+Post. TGIM. Thank God it's Monday. Hope you guys have been celebrating this amazing Monday today. Had quite a bit of rain this morning, but now the sun's out, so that's fantastic. So I had a question that came in from Aaron that I want to talk about tonight because I thought it was a really good question. Aaron was looking for resources for a kid diagnosed with RAD, reactive attachment disorder. You guys know I'm not big into the diagnosis stuff. And as I don't believe that any of us have attachment disorders, I believe we have attachment challenges. Because anytime we're stressed, our attachment system constricts into survival, making it difficult for all of us to have secure attachment in the midst of stress. So Aaron's question was, when you have a child that's been diagnosed with RAD, why is it so difficult for them to make friends? Let me tell you why this is a perfect question. And let me tell you why it speaks specifically to the whole diagnosis of reactive attachment disorder. Hello, Mimi, I see you over there. When you diagnose a child, any diagnosis, doesn't matter what the diagnosis is, short of post-traumatic stress disorder or regulatory disorder, because regulatory disorder of childhood, those two diagnoses specifically speak to experience, which causes condition. When you say a child has reactive attachment disorder, you are focusing on of course, an understanding of early experience, but primarily you're focusing on this list of symptoms and behaviors. And oftentimes one of those behaviors is difficulty forming peer relationships and having appropriate social skills. Well, why is that? If you really understand the root of attachment challenges, which is poor regulatory ability, a child who has a poor ability to regulate their stress, and because they have a poor ability to regulate their stress, sometimes an inability, a deficient ability to regulate their stress, peer interaction, social interaction, has the same physiology as stress physiology. So when a child who's experienced early trauma, you have a child who's diagnosed as RAD, you have a child who's experienced early trauma. When this child has had this early experience, and then they're interacting with peers, they're experiencing a physiology of stress. And when they're experiencing that physiology of stress, what they're actually doing, because they have an inability, a deficiency in regulating that stress, what actually happens is they regress. And when they regress, they're regressing to an earlier emotional age. That's why your 15-year-old or your 10-year-old or your 5-year-old has such a difficult time forming social relationships, peer relationships, forming friendships, because emotionally they are not congruent with their cognitive age, their chronological age, and their physical age. They're operating from their emotional age. So you've got cognitive, chronological, physical, and emotional. When we become stressed, we operate from our emotional age. Our emotional age dictates our physical, our cognitive, and our chronological. So you have a child who may be 10, but emotionally they're 2. How well are they going to get along with other children? They're not. You have a child who may be 5, but emotionally is an infant. You have a child who's 15, but emotionally is 5 years old. They're going to struggle in peer relationships. And so it's not that they're incapable of forming friendships, because they are. It's that they have difficulty regulating their stress, which maintains their ability to form friendships. So what do? First of all, recognize there's trauma. Very big. Second of all, recognize that there's a deficiency in being able to regulate stress in the peer environment. Third of all, create opportunities for one-on-one interaction. See, these children cannot maintain their regulation in the midst of 2, 3, 4 kids. They're not that kid. They regress when they're in a dynamic of a lot of children. So create opportunities for one-on-one interactions. Number 4, be patient, because their brain is developing. It is maturing. The more positive repetition of environments and relationships that you create for your child, the more regulatory experience you're giving them. The more opportunities you're creating for them to be able to regulate their stress and be able to learn how to release oxytocin in the midst of stress, and ultimately being able to be effective in peer relationships. So you have to be patient. You have to give the brain time. And then number 5, be supportive, because they're going to have a hard time when they're not able to just form friendships immediately, lasting friendships. So they're going to get upset, and they're going to feel sad, and they're going to feel rejected, not good enough. Be patient, be supportive, be loving, be kind. Help them to understand it's just going to take them time to find that right friend in their life, that 2 friends. See, we don't need 10 friends. None of us have 10 best friends, even as adults. We have 1, 2, 3 best friends. Your child will, in time, find that one person they connect with. Now, what you have to understand, underneath all of those 5 things I just mentioned, the ability to socialize starts in the home. See, we try to put children out into these play groups far too young, sending kids off to school, pre-K and kindergarten, all these things, far too young. We think they need to socialize. We think they need to learn how to get along with other kids. That all starts in the home. Your child's ability to feel regulated and safe and secure with you gives them the foundation to go out and engage the world and learn how to engage other children. Your ability to play with your child teaches them the ability to play with other children. So just remember, your child may be struggling with their peer relationships now, but you engage with your child, you interact with your child. Bring on another child over to play, and you play with them. Help regulate the environment, help regulate the play that they have together. And then you're going to notice your child is much more happy, much more successful, and much more likely to be able to master the peer relationship dynamics that can be very challenging and difficult to deal with, right? Of course they can. So anyway, I hope that's helpful, Aaron. Thank you for that question. Remember, guys, in any given situation, we always have 2 choices. We can continue to react from the same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm, or we can stop, we can slow down, we can take 3 to 10 deep breaths, and we can choose love. And I hope you choose love. God bless each and every one of you. Big Papa loves you. Thank God it's Monday, but we're going to be glad to see Tuesday come. I hope tonight that you guys, you lay your heads down at night and you get a good night's rest, and you wake up in the morning feeling refreshed, reinvigorated, restored, made whole to your highest loving self. Big Papa loves you. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to you soon.